Hi everyone, please don't forget to subscribe, like and share my channel. That will help me to create more such videos. In the last few videos, we have seen how do we fuzz our damn vulnerable C program using various fuzzers. And in last video, we have seen how do we fix all the vulnerabilities which are present in this program. And as I promised that I will create a video where we will discuss how do we do binary diffing. So in this video, we are going to see how do we do binary diffing and how do we identify vulnerabilities in a patch DLL for which you don't have the source code. So just to make things simple for you, I have shown you the source code for the damn vulnerable C program. I think if you are following my videos, then you might be comfortable with this program now. It is a very simple C program which has a main function. It expects a file name as a argument, and then it calls this process image function. And this process image function, what it does is that it tries to read the file data in this structure. So there is a header, there is width, there is height, and there is a data. And inside a while loop, it simply calls fread, and then when it reads all these values, it performs various operations like it will add width and height, and then it will allocate some memory based on the result, or it will subtract width and height, or it will divide width by height over here. And it does a lot of memory operation. It tries to access different memory over here, and it contains a lot of vulnerabilities like there is integer overflow, integer underflow, use after free, out of bound, read, write, etc. So what we have done is that in last video we have fixed all these vulnerabilities, and there are different conditions. So I will go to different file, that is imd read_patch.c, and in this file what we have done is that we have added various checks which prevents all this overflow over here. So for example, there is an integer overflow over here. So what we did over here is that we changed the type to unsigned integer over here. Same thing we have done in the structure as well. We have changed the type from integer to unsigned, so it can hold large value over here. And similarly, we have added some checks over here. Say for example, there is a size variable, so we are checking that when width and heights are added, its value should not be more than say 0 ff. So since it is an unsigned integer, it can hold value more than that, but just on a safer side, we have added this value over this check over here. So if the size 1 is more than ff, then it will simply prints a string that large value of size 1 detected, and it will simply return. So it will prevent the crash over here. Similarly, we have also added check for malloc. If you are following my videos, then you would have noticed that the most of the places where we are not checking malloc is successful or not, there was a crash after that when programs try to copy data to that. So we have actually added a check in this file for all the malloc calls, and what our check does is that it checks if the buffer1 is null. It means that if malloc is not successful, then we will simply return. So this will prevent any further issue over here. Another check we have added is that if the buffer which is allocated is less than image data, if so, then this will again cause issue during memcopy operation, because in memcopy what we are doing is that we are copying image.data, which is a 10 bytes buffer as mentioned in the structure over here, to the newly allocated buffer using malloc. So if our malloc memory which has been allocated is less than 10 bytes, then it will cause a issue. So we are adding a check over here whether where we are checking that if size of image.data is greater than size 1 which is allocated buffer, then we simply return again. So there are a lot of checks, like we have added a check for double free as well. We are setting buffer1 to null, so it will avoid double free issue over here as well. And there are a lot of checks we have added. Now this is a very common situation you face when you are trying to analyze some say closed source binary, and for which you don't have source code. So say for example, you want to analyze any Windows vulnerability. You have like a lot of Windows DLL which gets patched every patch Tuesday, and you don't have any source code for that. So we will see how do we analyze this file using Bindix and IDA Pro. So what I have done is that I have converted this program in a DLL, and I have created two DLLs. One, let's call it not paste or non-paste, and second one, second DLL I have called as a image read, which is a patch file. So what we are going to do over here is that we will first open this file in IDE Pro. We will generate IDB file, and then we will use bindiff to see how these issues which are fixed, how does it looks like at the assembly level, and how do we identify the vulnerabilities by looking at the patch code and unpatched code by doing a diff over here. So I will open up my VM, and we will do one thing. So I have created two folders where what I have done is that I have copied my patched and non-patched file in two different folders. So in patched I have this damn vulnerable DLL over here. I have named it as damn vulnerable DLL, which is patched, and I have symbol file for that as well. And in another folder I have non-patched DLL, which contains all the vulnerabilities. So I have kept it as a damn vulnerable DLL.dll, and I have symbol file for that. And now first thing what we will do is that we'll open our non-patched DLL in IDE Pro. So let me just open my IDE and I will show you. So you can see that when I have opened this damn vulnerable DLL, which is not patched, inside IDE it looks something like that. There is a process image function we are looking at. So this is the function which contains a lot of vulnerability, and you can see that what it is doing over here. There is a file name, and then there are some checks where it prints that if we don't give any file, it simply print a message and it exits from here. Then it tries to print header, width, height from the file, and there is a f open call. So it basically prints different values over here. You can see there's %s, %d, etc. And then here it is reading image width, image height, and then you can clearly see that it calls malloc call over here. Like there is a, it is adding image width and image height over here. There is a add instruction. So and then it is pushing this value EBX, that is inside EBX, that is the size to malloc over here, and then it is directly copying all the data, that is img.data, to this particular malloc register. So there is no check at all, and this is what was causing the vulnerability. So this is a non-patched DLL, and now what we will do is that we will open the patched DLL as well, and first we will see how does this code looks like, and then we will see how do we use bindiff over here. So you can see that this is a damn vulnerable DLL. This is a patched version where we have fixed all the vulnerabilities, and we are inside process image function right now. So let us go and go to the location where we see the malloc, where image width and height are getting added, and we'll see if there are any checks, or if there are any checks, how does it looks like. So you will see that over here it is reading image.data inside EX, then there is an image height, there is image width over here, and over here you can see that image width is being moved to ESI register, and then image height is being added to that over here, right? And then you will see that there is a compare instruction which compares the resulting value, that is whatever ESI contains, with 0f ff. So this is something, this is the check which we have added, and if it finds that the value is more than that, then what it does is that it simply print the error message, as you can see over here, and it returns it stops execution of the program over here. But if the value is less than 0f ff, then it will move next, it will push ESI over here, and that is actually a size to malloc. It will allocate the memory, and whatever memory will be allocated, EX will contain address to that. So there is a check over here, if you see, that is test EX, and there is again a check if jump 0, so it will jump to this particular location, which is again it will print an error message that memory allocation or buffer allocation is failed, and it will return. If it is not 0, then it will actually check that if the resulting memory is less than 10 bytes. If you see, there is a compare section over here, that is ESI 0A. So if it is less, then it will again go to another location. It will print that we don't have enough memory to copy data. Basically, it is checking if the allocated memory is less than the size of image buffer over here, image data over here. This is another check we have added. And if it is not, then it will simply copy the image data to the allocated buffer, which we found using malloc call over here. So this is what it does over here. Then there are some there's one free check over here. So our program is freeing the memory over here, and then you will notice that there is a subtraction instruction over here. So this is for the integer underflow. If you remember the source code of the program, where it is subtract image width and image height, and then it allocates memory over here. So here also it is checking if malloc is successful or not. You see there is a test edi instruction over here, and basically malloc result will be saved inside ex, and here it is moving ex inside edi. So this is how it looks in the code. And then again it is trying to copy some data if malloc is not null. So there are different checks, you can see something like that. So you can either do a manual analysis, since this was a very small piece of code, and we also had access to the source code. It actually makes it very easy to manually go through all this assembly code and understand the actual program flow. But in case of, say, if you are trying to identify some issue in Windows DLL for which you don't have the source code, then it becomes a bit difficult. So you need to use BinDiff tool over there. Also sometimes you don't have the symbols available. So now what we are going to do here is that we will use BinDiff tool, and we will see how does it looks like in the BinDiff, and how do we identify what are the functions which are changed using BinDiff. So you need to install BinDiff. I am assuming that you have IDE installed. You simply download BinDiff and run the installer. You need to point it to the IDE installation directory, and then what it does is that it will give you one option over here, something like that, BinDiff, when you click on the file option. So you simply need to select another file for which you want to do BinDiff. And since we have opened this patch file, what we will do is that we will open our non-patch file so that it can diff this to IDB files, and it will take some time, maybe few seconds, maybe a minute, and it will give you results. So let's wait till it finishes the analysis. It will display various messages, you can see, like performing diff and all. Okay, so it has done, and one thing you will notice over here is that it has added few new tabs like primary and match. So it contains the function which are not matched. There are some statistics. We'll skip here. Then the important thing over here is the match function tab. So you will see over here that it shows similarity, it shows confidence. So similarity means that how similar these two functions are, and there is a name primary and there is a name secondary. So name primary is the function name of the primary DLL file, and the name secondary is the function name of the secondary DLL file. And there is some algorithm, so it shows which algorithm it has used. There is a match, and there is a basic blocks and match instruction, etc. So the thing you need to look for is the similarity over here, and what you can do is that if it is 1 and confidence is 0.9, which is almost 1, it means that this function are exact. There are no major change in this function. But if you sort it out, right, if you simply sort it out, you will notice that similarity score for our process image function is 0.68 and confidence is 0.93. So similarity is 0.68, and it display this in yellow color. So it means that there are some changes inside this function. And what are those changes? So you simply need to do a right click on this function name, and you can click on the view flow graphs. So it will give you a graph, a representation of both the files, and Based on that, you can easily identify what are the function, what are the code blocks which are changed, what are the code blocks which are newly added, and based on that you need to do some traversing, and you can actually locate vulnerabilities. It will take few seconds. We need to wait. Let me stop the recording. I will start it again. So you can see that it display the graph view, and inside graph view it display two such I will say tab or blocks where it display primary, and second one is a secondary. So the primary block will contains the first file. In this case it was the patch file, and the secondary one contains the file which is not patched over here. So you will see that there are different colors. There is a green color, there is a yellow color, there is a red color. And what this color means is that for green color it means that there are no changes in these blocks, they are same in both the files. Yellow blocks, yellow means that there are some changes into these two blocks between the version. And red blocks means that this has been removed from this secondary file. I mean, this is not present in the secondary file. So since this is the patch file for us, what this means is that there are some new code which has been added over here, and this code was not present in previous DLL. So this is a very likely, so there are very likely chance that this are the code which fixes some vulnerabilities over here. And whenever you are doing a diffing, you need to focus first on the red as well as on the yellow block over here. So you can actually zoom it around by pressing Control and your mouse scroll button. If you zoom something like that, you can see the instructions like something like this. You will see something like this. Okay, so you can zoom more, and on the right hand side you can actually drag this box. So when you drag it, you can actually move all this blocks around. So now let us go to the top over here, and we will traverse our process image function. So you will see that this is the process image function which actually takes file name over here. It is same, there are no changes. If you compare it line by line, right, there are no major changes over here. And as you go forward here, you will see that there is some difference over here between these two blocks. So in the new version, this is the patch file, and over here if you see, you will see that the malloc function address is moved to the EDI, and then inside the code it actually calls EDI. So that means that everywhere you see call EDI, it means there is a malloc call over here. This is the first thing you will notice. And the second thing over here to check is that if you check the unpatched file, you will simply notice that the program is it is reading some data over here. Then it has simply added image width and height over here inside EBX. Then it has used this EBX as a parameter to malloc call, that as a size, and without any checks whether malloc is successful or not, it is simply copying the data into the newly allocated buffer. So there are chances that the malloc call has been failed. There is no checks at all, as you can see it at this part of code, and this is what causes the vulnerability. But over here if you see, the image width and height, it has been loaded inside the register. It has been and then they are added over here inside ESI, and then there is a check which compares the value of ESI with the 0FFF. So this is the check which we have added, if you remember the source code at the start of this video. And then if the value is more than FFFF, it goes to another location, and that location actually what it does is that it simply print a message that we don't have enough space, and it will abort over here, or the size is too large, it will abort. But if the size is below FFFF, it will move forward, as you can see over here. So it will, you will see over here, it is pushing the ESI value, that is the size, and then it is calling the malloc. Call EDI is actually malloc. And if you move forward over here, you will see that there is some checks here as well, which we have just discussed, that it is checking for EX if it is 0 or not. If it is 0, then it will go to the error location, which basically print a message, and it will exit our program. But if it is not 0, it means that some memory is getting allocated. Then let me move forward. It is comparing that memory with the size of data. If that memory is less than image dot data or not. If it is less than, then it will again exit. If not, then it will move forward over here, right? So here you will see that it is copying the data after having all these checks. But in the unpaged version, if you see, there are no such checks. It is simply blindly copying the data. So that is what the vulnerability is. And now here are few things you can notice. First thing is that if you compare this patch version, right, there are some checks which has been added. I will just go over here. My system is a bit slow. Every time I use OBS and VMware, it becomes very slow. So anyway, so okay, so first thing you will notice is that there is a check for FFFF. So when you add image width and image height, it should not be more than FFFF. So if you have the vulnerable DLL, this is the first thing you need to do. You need to make sure that you craft a file such that your image width and height is more than FFFF. And another thing over here is that there is a malloc. There is no size check for the malloc. So you can easily cause an integer overflow over here, because they are blindly adding this image width and height, and there has not been there is no check which checks for the actual size over here. So suppose if image width contains FFFF, which is the maximum possible value for an integer, and image height say contains only 1, then what will happen is that this EBX will become 0 because of integer overflow over here, and this EBX is used as a parameter to malloc. So it will be so the malloc will allocate 0. It means that malloc will not be able to allocate any memory over here, and then we are the program is copying data without any checks. So this is how you code a simple POC file over here, that you will create one image file which contains image width as FFFF, image height will contain 1, or it can contain say 1 or 2, which is less than 10. Anything which makes it less than 10 is sufficient to trigger this crash, and you pass it to the malloc and it will crash. So this is how you create the POC based on the analysis over here. And same thing you can do for any other case over here. You just need to dig a bit deeper over here. You need to understand the code, different condition, what has been changed, and this is how you do the diffing process over here. I wanted to keep it very simple so that people can relate to that and they can understand. And you can actually check another point over here as well. So you will see that there are a lot of checks which has been added in the patch file, which actually prevents all this vulnerability. I wanted to show integer underflow as well, so let me go down. A bit. Okay, yeah. So if you see that inside the patch version, we are also checking for malloc call after the after we are subtracting image width and image height over here. So you can also craft an input where you subtract image height from image width, and result will become a very large positive integer because of integer underflow over here. Because if you notice on the right hand side in the unpatched DLL, right, it simply subtracts the file simply subtract image width from image height, and over here it simply subtract. There is no check for the integer size, and it passes it to the malloc, and then malloc crashes. malloc causes your program to crash because the memory will not be allocated and this will crash. So this is the second issue. And uh, going forward, you can actually see all this condition. You need to do a bit of manual analysis over here, and that is how you do binary diffing. So I hope that you have uh, like this video, and please don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video if you like the contents. Thank you everyone, and till the next video, stay safe. Goodbye, and if you have any questions, feel free to post in the comments or reach me out on the Twitter. Thank you. Bye.